Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one and only XCN coin. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people, like the technical analysis, the consistent updates. So here's the deal, people. I could be making a video on this coin once a week, 2-3 times a week. I could be doing it every other day. I could even be doing it every single day if you want the micro moves. I just need you guys to understand, though, not every day is going to be like a wow day in terms of either technical analysis or from the fundamental side, some kind of big update. Now, overall, right, I do expect the markets to speed up. I really, really do. Before we jump in this coin, let's even just look at Bitcoin. Okay, let me talk about Bitcoin for just 1 minute before we talk about this coin. Overall with Bitcoin, I expect us to really, really, really start breaking all-time highs sooner than later. Okay, and I expect us to get to 120K by mid to middle late June, right? So somewhere around the middle to like the 20th, 21st is where I expect Bitcoin to hit 120K. So if Bitcoin's going to be flying, then, all coins are going to start picking up, right? They will. I'm not saying it's going to be massive pumps. I'm not saying it's going to be, 2 times right away, 3 times right away, but they are going to start picking up and heading to key areas. The reason why I say this, ladies and gentlemen, because this is very, very important, which is also related to XCN, is because if we go and look at something like global liquidity, right? We go and look at something like global liquidity, we can see that when we change the color, right? Here is a detail I found with these charts. So when we go and look at global liquidity, we can see that if we take it from the top to here, it is 91 days, right? From the global top to Bitcoin's top, right? And then next week it faked and went down. From the bottom, 91 days, faked and then went up. And then we can see, right? We can see that boom, here was 91 days. And then next week it is sold off because boom, the bottom was here, 91 days. But overall, these 3 tops, right? These 3 tops are in action right now. Now, last week, 91 days was the fake out. Overall, we are here now, and I expect it to continue to pump. And at the bare minimum, right, I expect us to pump next week to 120K, which is why I said, mid to late June. Right. So with that being said, right, we understand the context of everything. We also know Bitcoin is breaking out slowly, right? I do believe Wednesday and Thursday are going to be very, very nice pumps, right? We can see that Bitcoin is trying to break out of this zone, right? Right now it is retesting off of here. So we're gonna have to see how it reacts, obviously. But overall, I expect good things from this coin. Sorry, Bitcoin, which means obviously XCN should be seeing some type of lifeline too, right? If we expect, for Bitcoin to be pumping, we should expect for this coin to start picking up. Now, we did talk about how, last time, right? Last time when there was a big correction, it didn't fill up all the imbalance. And we can see there's imbalance on here too, right? Imbalance is practically when you don't have, support and resistance and it just kind of shoots up, right? Usually price kind of mirrors it. But if it doesn't, it's usually just because this coin wants to build things very fundamentally well. Now we can see that on the 4-hour, we did break some structure, right? We did break structure. We did kind of get out of this zone. So the potential pullbacks, right? The potential flip could start happening. Now I want to see daily and weekly confirmation for me personally, right? Because, on the 4-hour, structure breaks consistently, but it's always the daily and the weekly that really, really do show the bigger picture, right? Overall, I would want to create higher highs than these highs over here, right? We have this high here, we have this high here, and at the moment we have this high over here. So I would definitely want to see us to hold the zone and at least flip this, right? When we flip that, then things are going to look very, very solid. And that is going to be practically confirmation that we are going to the upside. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, at this current moment, we are, consolidating. We are consolidating. There is no massive confirmation for a huge pump yet, right? There's no massive confirmation for a huge pump yet. I do need to see a little bit more. We do have potential reversals, but in case it does go lower, then I do expect for this coin to roughly get to a cent, Ultimately, a cent is where I would be looking for, to buy. Now, I do think this coin is going to do very, very well this cycle, right? I do think it's going to do very, very well. If we go and look at the market cap, even right now, I do believe we should be hitting a 10 to 20x kind of at the bare minimum, right? In my opinion, kind of at the bare minimum. Some people might disagree. They might think it's less. They might think it's more. But from what I see, like, this coin is very, very good, very, very solid, and it has a very big community. We could also see that we're not listed on too many exchanges. So that is also something to note. And it's also a positive, because if your coin is doing well while not being listed on so many exchanges, it usually means you have a lot of actual key core values that other exchanges and other institutions and people see in the token. We can see we're ranked 116, 500, 500 million market cap and 44 million volume, right? If this does go down 1/3, you will be seeing a very, very nice discount and potentially be hitting, those 30 times gains, right? So, patience is key, although time is kind of limited in a way because the markets are overall looking to be bullish. Okay. Now let's talk about one final thing. Where can this price go? Right? At the bare minimum, we should at least, in my opinion, hit all-time highs. We should get to at least 10 cents, which would be a little bit less. Like, as of right now, that is what, like a 7-8x. So it's nothing too crazy. But if that's kind of like the bare minimum, in my opinion, and I was investing in this coin and we did hit the bare minimum, it's like, yeah, obviously a lot of coins can make me more money. But if that was really the bare minimum, I would not be too disappointed in the result, right? You still made a 7 to 8x. But obviously, if you wait for the price and if we do go lower to roughly that 1 cent, and it does hit the bare minimum of, that 10, 11 cents, then you should be looking at a minimum of, 10 to 11 gains, 10 to 11 times for the amount of gains. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what price you get in. Let me know how often you want these videos, and I'll talk to you guys in another XCN video. That is it. Hope you guys have a great, great day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye. Portfolio reviews, economic and global updates and news, frequent up-to-date technical analysis, and a very supportive community. Sell and buy calls and trading education is provided. If that sounds good to you, now is the time to act. Once the markets start moving, there is no I should have, coulda, woulda. Now is the time. If you want to take things to another level, we have the blueprint that covers everything from A to Z in crypto that you need. No fluff, no bullshit, just the most important news, fundamentals, and technicals to have you succeed in these markets.